Yeah. Yeah. What up, Hill?
What up, man?
How you doing out there, big dog?
Man, I'm good. How about you?
Oh, man, it feels so good to be back in front of the camera and on the microphone, man.
Yeah, man.
Man, I miss this thing, man.
Yeah, been a minute.
Straight up, man. How y'all doing out there? I'm your host, Big Heem.
And this is King Hill.
And you're now tuned in to the OG's Perspective Podcast. Yo, what up, Big Hill? How you doing, man? King Hill, how you doing, dog?
Man, I'm doing good, man.
Hey, where you been, man?
Man, you see what we doing. You see the new setup and everything.
Yeah, man. We've been missing in action for a minute, man. But we just tried to do a new set, man. We just tried to do something, bring this thing to the next level, man. It's a lot of dudes out there podcasting, and man, we're just trying to come scale up, man. We're trying to get to the next level, and I think I'm loving the new set. We're gonna be continuously adding to it, bringing some flavor, decorating the new set, and getting it right, man. So y'all pay attention, and y'all gonna start to see little things here happening. More pictures appearing. We hopefully get some sponsors popping off on this joint. Get some bottles around here somewhere. But at the end of the day, man, we trying to scale it up because we got to get these subscriptions up. So everybody that's paying attention to our podcast, make sure y'all like and y'all hit the subscribe button and hit the button the notification button, because without y'all support, this thing will not grow.
Yeah.
So today, Hill, we're gonna be talking about one of the most important things and scariest things that's going on in our lives, and I'm pretty sure it's affecting everybody across the nation right now. We're gonna be talking about gun violence.
Yeah. Gun violence is definitely out there, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
we're gonna get into this, and because I got some numbers and everything, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's
scary.
Scary.
Wild.
It's scary. But hey, y'all, before we get into this, because it's a serious subject, it will not be discussed all today. This is going to be like an ongoing or reoccurrence part of the OG's Perspective Podcast. We're going to always tap in, because we know in order to tame this monster, it's going to take more than just me and King Hill. So
Yeah.
there's plenty of podcasters out there with bigger platforms than us. Shout out to my boy Matt Hoffa. He just hit 500,000. I'm following you, dog. We watching you. You paving the way. It's a lot of big dogs out there. Wallow and Gilly, Joe Button, Drink Champs. I mean, you name them, man. Right now, podcast is definitely winning. And me and my man King Hill just trying to join the ranks. So before we get into the gun violence conversation, we want to send our condolences to Bill Russell. 11-time champ. He was the first black coach in the NBA. He was a 12-time MVP, and he was an activist. He left us on 7/31/22 this year, and he was 88 years old.
Yeah. It's sad to lose one of the greats.
Yeah. I look at it like this. Bill Russell I could say this, he didn't get the credit that he deserved. We always, when we talked about the GOAT, we always considered Michael Jordan the GOAT. I think it was a little disrespectful to consider Michael Jordan being the GOAT, even though Mike is definitely one of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah.
But not to recognize Bill Russell as being one of those pioneers that set the tone, set the trend, and put himself out there to make the NBA more acceptable
Right.
to African Americans and give them that platform where they could grow and become multimillionaires. I don't think he got the credit.
Nah, not at all. 11 championships, 12-time All-Star team. You gotta look at his credits and his credentials, and definitely put him in the conversation, because he deserved to be there.
Yes, he do. If we could, right here on the OG's Perspective, we're gonna give just a moment of silence for the late great Bill Russell. All right, y'all. Thanks. So Hill, man, we're gonna go ahead and dive right in. This is a subject that affects every African American and every American at this stage of our lives. Gun violence used to be confined, really, to the African American community, but we see now the tentacles of violence has crossed every border you can name. Yeah. Don't matter if you're rich. Don't matter if you're poor. It don't matter if you're at the grocery store. It don't matter if you at church. Don't matter if you at a marathon, a parade. It don't matter where you at no more. Gun violence can strike, right?
It's out there. You can't miss it.
You had the shooting. I mean, you had quite a few big shootings this year. Like, we had one major shooting here, like, that I didn't never think that it would happen here in Buffalo.
Yeah.
You know, Buffalo is a small but big city.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a terrorist attack here. We had white supremacists come here and slaughter, murder, massacre 10 people and wound 3.
Yep.
And he scared a whole community of people.
Yeah. And it was at a grocery store, the only grocery store
In the black
community.
Yeah, so that put fear in a lot of people.
Yeah. I've heard people say they never going back to that tops again, regardless of what happened. They just don't want to go back there, man. They don't want to relive that
trauma.
That trauma.
I've heard stories like that too. But, this the reality of growing up in a black community.
Mm-hmm.
We used to blood shed.
Yeah.
We used to walking from the store or leaving the store, and second we leave, somebody get killed. But it usually be one person.
Yeah, yeah.
We've never experienced a situation where 10 people in Buffalo
get killed. Our community.
Get killed.
Yeah.
At one time.
Yeah.
Buffalo has never experienced that. There are places in the United States that experience it, places like Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
They experience those type of shootings. And the sad part of that is, I hate to say this, it usually be black on black crime.
Yeah.
But see, the difference between what happened here and happens in other places is that shooting was targeted only because of the color of people's skin.
Yep.
That makes it totally different.
Totally different.
That changes the whole dynamics of what took place.
Yeah. Like y'all said before, my brother was up there.
Yes.
And I went up there.
Yes.
And just the scene itself, dog. That I could feel the emotion even when I'm talking about it.
Yes.
But it's crazy. It's crazy.
For our listeners and for our viewers, we're going to be having his brother come on. He has agreed to come on. He's still grieving.
Yep.
He's still emotional. But he did say he'll come on and give us his story of what happened that day. And that'll be coming soon. Like I told you guys, this conversation is going to be lingering. It cannot just be had today. We're going to start it today, but it's going to be a continuation throughout the OG's Perspective podcast.
Right.
Statistically, I have a few numbers, and my King Hill have a few numbers. I just want to read this to y'all. Since 1963, nearly 193,000 children have been killed on American soil. More than in Vietnam, the Persian Gulf, Afghan, and the Iraq War combined. In 2019, 43% of all children and teens were black that were killed.
That's crazy.
Our children only make up 14% of the population. A black child or teen is 4 times likely to be killed by gun violence than their counterparts.
Yep.
Than their white counterparts. 4 times. So, Hill, that is...
And they're it's 10 times more likely for a homicide. This is like overall. 18 times more assault injuries, and 3 times percent more shooting by a police officer.
And we are in the United States. We're not in
the land of the free.
Yeah. We're not in the third world country. We are in the United States, and these are the statistics of our children.
Mm-hmm.
Of our children. That's scary, y'all.
Yeah, that's
at this rate, our children are, before they can mature and grow up and be of age to really start having kids, they're getting killed.
Yeah.
That means we're on the verge of extinction
yeah.
of ourselves.
Yeah, man. It's crazy, man. We got to wake up. We got to get something together to get these kids to realize, man, what they doing, not to only themselves, but the existence of black people.
Facts. They try to blame rap music. They try to say that hip hop has an adverse effect on what's going on in the community right now.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with that. I believe that most of the guys in hip hop are not gangsters. I believe most of the guys in hip hop are not violent.
Right.
I believe most of the guys in hip hop are telling a story of what they've come from or what they've seen.
Right.
So, we got Young Thug, we got Gunner. I'm not from Atlanta. I don't know the history of these guys, but I don't think lyrics should be considered evidence in any type of criminal case.
Yeah.
Even though I know they got people paying attention to the Instagram and lyrical content, but you got to take that. You got to take it into context as it's art.
Yeah.
Hip hop is an art form that was created by the African American community.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Violence is something that has been going on in America since its existence. This country was taken by gun violence, right?
Yep.
It's been a part of American history since
the beginning. Yeah.
So to our listeners and to our viewers again, it's affecting our community to a point where it's almost scary to even go outside sometime into certain communities. And our job as adults is to start putting our best foot forward, because I feel like I know I contributed to some of the things that has come out of the streets because I was part of the streets.
Right.
I came here in the early 80s to Buffalo from Jackson, Mississippi, and I didn't see violence like that. I didn't. I'm a country boy, man. And I came from the South, and we stayed with my grandmother for a while, but we wind up on Bissell and Genesee, which was like one of the baddest neighborhoods in the city at the time in the early 80s. GYC, that was the area. But I came here in the era of, like, it was still gangs in Buffalo.
Yeah, me and my mother, and we used to stay on Bissell, and in the early to mid 80s.
Yeah,
and I was young. I was probably maybe 5, 6 years old, but it still don't erase the visual
Oh no.
of some of the stuff that I seen.
You got to think, man. We was on Bissell when crack first came. I know I was you because you was 5. I was like 9. I was like 10 or something. I can remember when crack first came, and the community was already like, it was rough. But you seen a transition in a matter of a couple of years that community just went to hell.
Yeah,
it went down very fast, and I can remember playing fumbly rumbly with my friends, and the police pulled up and started shooting at a guy right in front of us. They didn't stop. They didn't pause. They didn't say, "Hey, y'all kids, get out the way." Literally, they shot, unloaded their guns, and my moms came running down the street to get us. This was the first time I seen violence, and it wasn't by no dudes. It was by the police.
right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you look at today, right now, the police kill just as many people as you consider gangs or young African Americans. They to me are a big gang too.
Yeah, I think just the government period is a big gang.
Yeah,
it is. They on the same. They follow pretty much the same rules. The only thing is, like, they
organize.
Yes,
they organize,
organized,
and they got a pass to kill.
Yeah.
All right, so look. Let's look at it like this, people. How do we, as a community? Because I can remember Hill Ray. I can remember when I was coming up, the church was involved in the community.
Yeah.
I don't see that no more.
Yeah, that's maybe I want to say few and far between, but you just don't see it. I remember when I was coming up, I went to church with my grandmother every Sunday.
Sunday school.
School.
You had Bible studies, choir rehearsal, the works.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, man, I was in church. Yes, I was.
Yeah.
And I could sing a little bit when I was in there. But we don't have that no more. Did you see the pastor got robbed on
Yeah.
while
man,
they was doing service?
Now, seen that.
You could take that a couple of ways. You could take it as, looking at it, it looked like it was a setup because nobody got hurt.
Right.
Or you could look at it as, hey, this dude balling out of control and somebody had that much disrespect to running the church.
Yeah, I would. First of all, just run you. I feel like if you ain't safe in church,
you ain't safe nowhere. And that's and not being funny, guys, but it's real. Church is like a safe haven.
Yeah, and I feel like he set it up just by allegedly of how much jewelry he got. $1 million worth of jewelry.
What do you need $1 million for jewelry?
I don't know a pastor with $1 million worth of jewelry.
I don't even understand why you would be in church with $1 million for jewelry on. For what?
Why?
It looked like he got a very small congregation.
Yeah.
Just that's on the outside looking in.
And they said he allegedly stole about $90,000 from his congregation.
Allegedly. Maybe he got a big online following. I don't know.
Yeah.
But my thing is this. You got $1 million to spend on jewelry. Man, why don't you invest that $1 million in the community?
Right.
Invest that $1 million in some type of programs to help bring these young kids out of the streets.
Yeah, man, the thing is, I don't even think it's. I remember when I was younger, we'd go to church and we'd go to my aunt's house for a Sunday dinner, and the pastor over to the house drinking with our uncle. It is some good pastors out there.
It is.
My wife uncle is a pastor. Shout out to Pastor Blue. But yeah, man. It's I don't see the church and the community the way they used to be.
It's not. At the end of the day, I can remember they say they take a community or a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
I can remember going down the street, getting in trouble, getting a whooping, and the neighbor bringing me back down the street, getting another whooping. And I think that had a lot to do with the way we were brought up. You know, you was gonna get disciplined. I can remember when the child abuse thing started, talking about you couldn't whip your kids, and I think that was one of the parts that really changed the black community when they couldn't chastise their kids.
I remember when churches used to have food pantries.
Yeah.
The
They still do, but it's just not as many.
Yeah, like the only one that I've seen is the one at Second Baptist in Lackawanna. I went and volunteered for them a couple of times.
Okay.
But I don't see none. And maybe I think Pastor Pridgeon Church.
Probably so.
I think he got one.
I'm gonna be honest. I really can't touch on that because I haven't really been involved in. I haven't been to church really, man, since my mom passed. I'm gonna just keep it 100. But I do know we got to get back out there and get active in the community.
Yeah.
Because we got a generation of children that's out there killing each other, that hate each other. They got such a disdain towards each other, which I don't even understand why they hate each other so bad. And it's just not here in Buffalo. It's all around the world. It's all around the country. Right now, America is on fire. I look at it like that. America is on fire. They're on gunfire. Mm-hmm. Now, I am pro-gun because I do believe that as an American, we have the Second Amendment, and you should be allowed to have a gun. Right. I believe that if you're a convicted felon, because this is one of the laws that I really hate, because you're a convicted felon, you can't have a gun. Or They make it so hard for you to get your gun rights back. I think after 10 years, I say 10 years, if you do everything you need to do, stay out of trouble, you know what I'm saying, maintain employment, be a productive citizen, doing exactly what you need. Maybe even if they want you to do some voluntary work, cool.
Right.
You should be given and granted your rights, not only back for guns, you should be able to have your rights to real estate license and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
They cancel you out just because you make a mistake.
Yep.
And I think that's wrong.
One mistake. And everybody deserves a second chance.
Everybody.
But I do believe after a certain amount of time, you can get your all your rights reinstated.
Well, I've looked into it. I believe certain crimes, you can't.
You can't. Yeah.
You can't.
I think and maybe if you got a violent.
Yeah. Certain
it's
crimes
just over.
Certain crimes you can't get. You can't get your gun rights back. So let me ask you this, Hill. Let me ask you this, King Hill. What do you think right now in this conversation today that we having would be something that could deter gun violence in this country?
I'm thinking you got to give these kids somewhere to go besides the streets. I got my wheels turning on something. I got to finish doing research on it and see what I could do, how I could contribute.
Yeah, because you was telling me you want to start some type of community activist program, or some type of program for the kids, which is I'm in all support for that. Whatever you need from me, man, let me know. But continue to do the research, and if there's anybody out there that got some information that y'all can give us or give my man King Hill here in Buffalo, New York, to help him get started on starting some type of program. You know, when we was coming up, you had the YMCA, you had the
Boys and Girls Club.
The Boys and Girls Club. We had this thing called the Lighthouse too. I remember we used to go to. So yeah, if anybody out there drop a comment or hit him up on Instagram, let the man know. Give the man any type of information you can provide that's gonna help him move in the right direction. Yeah, he'll use it.
And the community it's going to be a community center. I just don't want it to be a building.
All right.
I want things. Because they need something to do.
Yeah.
They need something to occupy their minds. And and hopefully have some things where they could start thinking about their future.
Yes.
So it is. I'm gonna keep looking into it. I'm praying I could get this thing going, and hope that it could help the community, help the kids for the most part, because the kids is our future.
Well, let me ask you this. I know the younger the child, the better the child. And I'm not saying that in a way to take away from older kids, but younger kids are more susceptible to information, to changing their mind than a child that's already set in their ways. Do you think it will be easier if, like, you know, some of these kids you're not going to be able to change? They already like, man, I'm a gangster. I'm this and I'm that. And let me tell y'all a little bit about being a gangster, right? Gangsters, real gangsters don't like trouble. Y'all go look at any gangster movie, Goodfellas. You go look at Godfather. You go look at Hoodlum. You go look at Casino. You go look at Gotti. Go look at the old school gangster movies, man.
Yeah.
They did not want trouble. Real gangsters love money.
Yep.
And they hate trouble.
Yep.
Trouble stops the bottom line, and the bottom line is business and making money.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say gangsters not violent, but their first line of business is not violence.
Right.
And
it's about getting that money.
It's about getting that money. I see a lot of these young dudes, oh, I'm a gangster this, I'm a gangster that. Well, let me tell you what come with being a gangster. Death, in prison, and losing a lot of loved ones. Okay? I lived that gangster life here for a long time. And I can guarantee you this. I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of family.
Yep.
And these is things that you're not getting back, guys. And when somebody tell you about to get, I got homeboys right now doing 50 in 100 years in prison, life sentences.
Ain't never coming home.
Never coming home. And some of them only made one mistake. One mistake. They didn't go to jail, in and out of jail. They did one thing wrong. Cost them the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So y'all young dudes out here that just, oh, I'm a gangster this, I'm a gangster that, that's running around here. It only take one time.
You got a yard to pick. You got a yard. Either the graveyard or the prison yard.
When I came home, let me tell y'all something. I was very fortunate to not go to jail for the rest of my life. I'm telling y'all that. Thank God. God had a different plan for me because I was out there messing up. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I came home. I had a plan. I said, you know, whatever I did in the streets, I did. And understand this, some of that stuff come back at you. Whatever you dish out, it will come back at you. Trust me. And it might not happen when you want it to. Just because you leave the streets don't mean the streets leave you. Understand that, right?
Exactly. I made a mistake too. I've been upstate. I did 3.5 years in jail. Mm-hmm. And talk about losing everything in a split second. Because once you win there, you win there. It ain't going home to get your ducks in order.
No.
Nah, it's over for that.
No.
Whatever you got out there, you can forget about it.
I want to send a shout out to Otis Glover. Because my goal when I came home here was not to make money. It was to be a better father than my kids.
Yeah.
Because I gave my kids everything, as far as toys, and money, and clothes, and sneakers, all that type of stuff. They had that.
Mm-hmm.
But what they didn't have is they didn't have the best dad at the time.
Right.
They had the best provider.
Right.
So I made amends with myself. When you go home, you be the best father you can be.
Mm-hmm.
And I took classes. I took classes on how to be a better man because I had tried to get jobs. I had applications balled up in my face, threw in the garbage. Oh, man, that was some frustrating stuff. But, you know, this stuff you had to go through.
Yeah. And for the guy, for people who's out there, And because you hear a lot of people say, "Oh, ain't nobody gonna hire me. I'm a felon."
That's a lie.
Ain't I can't do nothing. I'm a felon. Man, negative thoughts gonna bring negative energy. You talking? It's two felons sitting here.
Yeah.
At this table, and we well off, dog.
Yeah.
We making good money.
Don't worry about nothing.
We ain't in the streets. We got beautiful families, and we doing our thing. And we don't got to worry about we don't got to look over our shoulders
no more at all. Like I was telling y'all about Otis Glover. He told me this, right? He said, you got 2 seconds to make a decision when you win. He called it a storm, a tornado.
Mm-hmm.
He said you got 2 seconds to make a decision that could change the rest of your life. He told me the next time I get in a situation, you either move forward or you step out of the storm.
Mm-hmm.
When you step into the storm, be prepared for everything that's in it.
Yeah.
And everybody know what a tornado, it sucks up everything.
Everything.
It sucks up everything. So if you're not ready to lose everything when you step into that storm, do not step into it. I didn't say gain nothing. I said lose.
Yep.
I said lose, Hill.
Yeah. And in life, man, you're going to come to multiple forks in the road. Multiple. They never going to stop. You're gonna have to choose which way you're going to go. You're going to come to some obstacles you got to get over. What I've learned going through life is every time I got to the point where I felt like I just can't make it,
Mm-hmm.
or it's just too hard,
Mm-hmm.
and I fought on,
Mm-hmm.
when I got past that, it was better. I gained more than what I had before. It was always at your hardest point. Once you get past that point, your blessings is on the other side of that door.
They are. You know, I thought coming up that, you know, when I was in the streets doing what I was doing, I didn't believe there was an other side to nothing, that you could go out here and have a decent life without selling drugs. I didn't believe that existed. I didn't. I want to shout out to my wife because she convinced me that, Heem, you can do it. Same thing you was just saying. Man, let me tell y'all something. I knocked at the door a couple of times to go back out in the streets. And she convinced me that you can do it. It was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard. It's not easy. You're going to get a lot of no's.
Yeah.
But you got to convince yourself that all you need is one yes. That's it.
Yeah, man. That's all it takes.
You got to give yourself a chance, man. I was listening to Mano on the Matt Hoffa show. He was telling some stories. What I learned from listening to him and from myself and from Wallow is that you have to put the work in if you want to see yourself prosper.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I commence anybody that go do a prison bid and come home and don't go back to the streets. I commence you because it's easy to make that street money.
Yeah. It's this Bible verse. It says, faith without works is dead.
Exactly.
And now back in the day, I didn't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But now I understand it. And it's exactly what it say. Like, faith without works is dead. You gotta put in that work, man.
Got to.
If you ain't nothing gonna fall in your lap
At all.
An idea or a dream is gonna stay an idea or a dream without action. You got to put in that work. You got to take that next step to get to meet your goals, man. Because
so I'm gonna say this, Hill. We have to encourage these young men and women sometimes that the first thing that comes to your mind is always violence or shooting at somebody or getting your get back.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're going to have to say, yo, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
A lot of these shootings is based on old beefs, right?
Yep.
At what point in time do you say, I have to let go? You know, you ask the average young dude, yo, why you beefing with him? He can't even tell you.
Mm-mm.
Or he'll be like, yo, man, he did something to my man. How long ago was it? Yo, man, he shot my cousin. He did this. He did that. Let me tell y'all something, man. This coming from somebody that was out there. I done had to make some decisions in my life. My big brother got killed in 1992. I'm going to leave it at that, right? And I had to make some decisions in my life, very hard ones. My brother was a gangster. That's where I got being a gangster from. My big brother was cool with Sly Green. That was his homie. And Dee Dee, a lot of them OGs, man. My cousin John Underwood. A lot of the OGs, I'm talking about the real gangsters. Big Bam from the Fruit Belt. I looked up to these guys. You got the Bishops. I mean, I could start naming names. The CDs. You know what I'm saying? The Jahans, the BJs. Now I mean, the Tough Tonys. I could name a lot of names, man. That the Robert Earls, the Joneses, man, names, man. I could sit here and name names of people that influenced us young guys to be out in the streets and do the things we did, right? I knew a lot of the stick-up boys, the Damus, the Kevin Allens, a couple gangsters I won't name because they still alive. I don't think they active, but end of the day, man, when you make amends with life to change and you give yourself to your family and you say, yo, I'm now listen, don't get it twisted. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing to me.
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm not gonna allow that. I'm a man. I'm gonna defend myself at every angle, right?
Right.
But what I'm telling y'all is that sometimes you have to say, I gotta let it go.
Yep.
Yeah. You gotta let it go.
Got to. If you don't, man, you'll realize you'll start to see the more stuff you let go, the further away of the BS you'll get away from it. I used to have negative thoughts all the time about doing. Man, what if I go do this to this person? What's going to happen? How can I not get caught doing it? In order to change yourself, you got to change your mindset.
Yes, you do.
And that's a big part. That's a big part of it. You could be anywhere in the world, but this right here, there's only one person that can control this, and that's you.
That's it.
You are the master of your own thoughts. And once you get that in check, man, and you really start focusing on the positive, you can't do nothing but succeed.
That's it. This has been a great conversation here. But before we leave and tie this up, I'm going to say this to y'all. People, places, and things. You're going to have to change those if you want to do what my man King Hill said. Your mindset has to be changed. People, places, and things. Like I told y'all when we started this podcast today, It will not be discussed all in one session. This is going to be an ongoing conversation. I'm going to be reaching out to advocates, people that specialize in guns, victims of gun violence, mental health, you name it. It all leads back to gun violence. Trust me. You'll be surprised how many young kids in our community that it has mental issues, including some of us, from the effects of gun violence that's walking around untreated. Yeah. So, with that, Hill, is it anything else you want to add to this?
Man, I think that's about it, man. Change your mind. Like you said, people, places, and things. Change those 4 things, man, and you're going to go somewhere.
Well, guys, like we said in the beginning, make sure y'all hit the like and the subscribe button. We got to get these subscriptions up. If y'all want us to grow, if y'all want us to be able to build this platform so we can get on that big stage with the rest of these guys and really start getting our message out there, y'all going to have to support this podcast. Y'all going to have to listen. Y'all going to have to like. Y'all going to have to tell y'all friends. Make sure y'all spread the word. The OGs is back. Y'all see where we at. We in a new studio. We're going to keep building this thing up. And like we say all the time, OGs out. Deuces.
Deuces.
And respect the OGs, man. Out, baby. All day, every day.
We out.